представляется Runa Evensen, Kommunistiske Parti Norway.
The Communist Party of Norway would like to express our gratitude for this meeting in Leningrad. It is a great honor to be present in the year of the 100th anniversary of the Great Russian Revolution, which has been of great significance and has given fundamental knowledge for our analysis. As we are gathered here today on Marxist-Leninist parties, it's on the background of our common ideology. Still, the historical background of our parties and the development in our different countries varies. But the side we choose is clear. We all side with the working class. We are communists with a will to fight and sacrifice, with a steady course for political analysis, tactics and strategy. We have the methods and move based on how reality looks, for enlightenment, analysis and knowledge. Norway today is a highly developed country, and in the consensus of the bureaucracy, there are high ratings of satisfaction despite increasing differences. The thing is that everyone would be so much better off in an expanded democracy. Norway needs a change in system. I'm a fourth-generation communist, and the worldview of family and relatives has also become a lifestyle. First, some history describing what NKP has been through the last 100 years and showing some of the significance the Russian Revolution has had in Norway. Alexander Kollontai lived in Oslo and conveyed the contact between Lenin in Switzerland and the Bolsheviks in Petrograd until Lenin traveled in a closed carriage through Germany to Petrograd. At the extraordinary Congress of the Labour Party, November 1923, there was a final historical definition of the relationship between the Communist International and the Norwegian section, the Labour Party of Norway. The meeting led to a split, and the minority branched out to create the Communist Party of Norway, because they saw the necessity of a communist vanguard party, and they understood the strength in acting together internationally. The struggle for improving their condition is based on each country's national condition. My great-grandmother was one of 3 women present at the founding meeting of NKP. She had been a member of the Labour Party, but of course she followed NKP after the split. This part of my story is not meant to highlight one communist family in Norway, but is meant to describe how every communist thinks, acts and works. As early as in 1910, my great-grandmother participated in founding of the Labour Party's Women's Union and encouraged women to discuss matters as they were and discuss whether anything had to be corrected. Her sense of class struggle had been incited when she worked at a spinning mill, her hate against injustice and abuse of power. In 1924, she participated in the first women's conference arranged by the NKP in Kristiania, today Oslo, and she was active in the first Worker Housewife League, founded the same year. The party was founded in the middle of a period of crisis which affected working families severely. Therefore, and because the party had a significant influence on the labor movement, and in particular regions, the party received plenty of support. The high spending of World War I was succeeded by a miraculous transition to deflation. The transition started in the late 1920s and led to forced auctions, bankruptcy and stock market crashes. Strikes and lockouts came in succession. Political control was taken and the value of the currency stabilized. But this was not important to the living budget of worker families. Industrial leaders managed to increase production using fewer employees. The result of the deflation policy was high unemployment. My great-grandfather was active in the trade unions, where he led strikes and demonstrations. He was chairman of the district council and school council and participated in building the people's house in order. My grandparents and two more comrades studied at the Lenin University in Soviet Union from 1928 to 1931, also called the Party school, only 9 years after the revolution started. They were taught in political economy, history and philosophy, including Marxism, Leninism, Russian, Norwegian, maths and gymnastics. Their apprenticeship was at the collective farm in Rostov, Caucasus, and in the sailing clubs of Arkhangelsk and Murmansk. During their stay, the process on my grandmother's national costume were torn off by a real communist from Russia. So she returned to Norway with 4 empty hooks on her silver brooch. Contrary to in other countries, NKP lost support in Norwegian politics in 1930s because of our country's social democracy was of a different character when NKP as an opposition party did not have the same opportunities as communists in other countries. By March 1933, the swastika was raised over the German consulate in Oslo. Memorial Day of World War I was dedicated to demonstrations against war and armament. My grandmother was a main speaker in Bergen in 1935 and warned against the new war, and said in her speech that Norway will, based on its position, become an excellent point of entry for an attack against the Soviet Union. And she was right. She predicted Nazi Germany's occupation of Norway because of her communist ideology, education and political practice. This was not only attained at home, but also in children's and youth unions as editor and accountant for NKP's national press, as later a member of CC and City Council representative. The support for the Spanish Republic was a central part of communist effort before 1940. They gained experience in working clandestine, but also developed unity with the Labour Party's Youth League, among other youth leagues. The Communist Party was the first political party that was banned during the occupation. My grandfather, who was a young pioneer and who led the communist youth movement in Bergen, anti-illegal resistance activity for peace and liberty. He was a member of CC in NKP when he escaped to his death while escaping Gestapo in 1944, in order not to expose the location of comrades and hidden arms depots along the Norwegian coast. My great-grandmother lost him, a son and a grandchild, in the war against the Nazis. NKP was the Norwegian organization that lost the most members during the World War II. 13,700 Soviet prisoners of war also died on Norwegian soil or along the Norwegian coast. It is a disgrace that their plaques and monuments are now deterioration, while Russian birds, which were given in exchange for food, are still decorating some Norwegian homes in memory. NKP honors the 4 Russian soldiers and Norwegian comrades every May the 1st on cemeteries all over the country. We will never forget. The meaning of the liberation struggle of more than 100,000 Russian soldiers on Norwegian soil in 1945 is of indescribable meaning. 1 week ago, Nazis demonstrated again in Norwegian streets. The police couldn't tell the difference between freedom of speech and hateful antagonism, and gave them police escort. Spontaneous counter-demonstrators were turned away and put in handcuffs. NKP and the youth communists were also well represented in the planned counter-demonstration. Striking harbour workers were fined when they demonstrated their contempt. NKP does not accept class discrimination in law. Therefore, during the World War II created the foundation of renewed trust and increased support, which was meaningful and influential. And in the parliamentary election in 1945, NKP received almost 12% of the votes, which resulted in 11 members of parliament, including 2 ministers' posts, and the first female Norwegian minister, Kirsten Hansted. The Cold War era was defined by anti-communism, the rewriting of history, and illegal surveillance initiated by the Police Security Service and the Norwegian Labour Party. After the wall fell, this fear of communists is still present among the Norwegian population. This frightened people from participating in our common international struggle against imperialism. Party comrades have participated in party delegation and meetings all over the world. My grandmother returned to Russia on a delegation to Tajikistan, among other places, and as the only female member of the delegation. My mother went to Czechoslovakia, my sister to a summer camp near the Black Sea. I was myself in Wilhelm Pieck camp in DDR as a youth participating in a pioneer camp in 1987. After the referendum against EU membership in 1972 and the following period, the party again gained support. Since NKP has had influence and significance within several organizations, unions, in local districts and cross-political organizations. The revolution also had great significance for workers, culture and sports. The Norwegian communists Nordahl Grieg, Johanna Bugge Olsen and Rudolf Nilsen are among the noteworthy. In Norway today, NKP is the real alternative against capitalism and imperialism. However, our party still has strong forces against us, all means used to throw us away from the scene. Therefore, we have strengthened our party as the only revolutionary party in Norway, and the important themes are taken care of. Today, the non-parliamentary work is the most important for us, but we still run for election. There is a parliamentary election in Norway on September the 11th this year, and the electoral laws stop NKP from having candidature in every region. NKP needs 500 votes in one region and more than 5,000 votes nationally in order to run for election on equal grounds as other parties. Therefore, NKP encourages all of European Communist parties present here today with sympathizers with a right to vote in Norway to vote NKP. Thanks in advance, comrades. NKP wants to change the system, where the country is owned and run by the people, not the minority. NKP wants to revolutionize workers for the struggle against capitalism system. In today's capitalist Norway, there is an inequality gap and class differences. We want a society where the people are in charge of the economy and not like today, where the economy is in charge of the people. Norway is not a member of EU, but nearly it seems through the EEA agreement. NKP is working to get a new mutual trade agreement. No agreement, no membership in EU, and no to EU's military army. For the first time since the Second World War, Norway has foreign forces on Norwegian soil. These are American soldiers. This is against the base policy of our country. Norwegian government has for many years reduced the Norwegian national defense in favor of NATO. Some fight against this initiative has been seen, but said enough too little. NKP's goal is no membership in NATO. More than before, the people need disarmament, solidarity and peace beyond the borders. NKP will be present in the demonstration against the aggressive NATO exercise Aurora 17 in Sweden this year. We know that socialism, communism is necessary for the Green Revolution. We know that the peace is a condition for socialism, communism. Our ideology is based on humanism and wants education for peace into the school system. We demand no unemployment, where workers can be placed and punished and pushed over of the workforce based on the needs of the owners. Capitalism must be defeated before we can have full equal rights. Movement within the party and in the communist movement is essential. NKP works with other ad hoc. NKP answers globalization with internationalism. The differences are increasing in capitalist Norway, oppression is present and no problems are solved. And therefore our theory and ideology is as important now as it was 100 years ago. Thank you.